Minasan, konnichiwa. Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. Today is the 52nd lesson of this playlist on Japanese lessons for beginners in English. I am your friend Sujoy Chatterjee. In the last lesson, we had learned 5 kanji characters. Today we shall learn 5 more. You can well see here friends, today's characters. These 5 characters we shall be learning today. And you can very well notice that the characters have striking similarities with one another, isn't it? For each of these 5 characters, we shall look at their readings in Kun'yomi and On'yomi, their meanings as per different usages, the involved radicals, their stroke order, and their origin and evolution. So let's get started then. This is the first kanji character for today, which represents stone. The kun reading is ishi, and the on readings are seki, shaku, and koku. Here are the different meanings in kunyomi. Ishi means stone, jewel, precious stone, or a flint in a lighter, a stone in the bladder or kidney, and even it may represent calculus in certain applications. So depending upon the situation, this character may be used in expressing calculus in mathematics. Then we have ishigaki, ishigaki, which means a stone wall. We have boseki, boseki means tombstone or a gravestone. Then we have shiki ishi, shiki ishi, which means paving stone or a pavement. So these were usages in kunyomi. Now let's look at onyomi meanings. Seki, counter for jewels in a watch or transistors, diodes, etc. That is in an electronic product. Then we have sekizai. Sekizai means a building stone. Then we have isseki, which means one game of Go. Then we have shakujin. Shakujin, which means stone which is worshipped or the image of a god in a stone. That is a stone which is worshipped, god in the form of a stone sculpture. Shakujin. Then we have koku. Koku means it's a traditional unit of volume in Japanese, which measures approximately 180.4 liters. So these are the meanings of this kanji character and their usages. The radical, it is a radical in itself, and the stroke order. This is the first stroke like this. We have the second stroke here. We have the third stroke here. The fourth stroke is these two segments, and finally the fifth stroke. So in this way, this character, this kanji for stone will be written. Now let's look at the origin and evolution. So you can see here, this is an inclined kanji character for the mountain, the yama. So this is the mountain and this is a stone underneath. So this is nothing but a stone beneath a cliff or a hill or a mountain. Now this got simplified in this form sometime later, although both are from the ancient period. And so this represents the mountain or the cliff and this represents a stone. So a stone on the side of a mountain. And from this modern form of the kanji symbol has come. So this is the cliff and this is the stone under the cliff on the mountain. So this is how this character has been derived. Now let's move on to the second kanji character for today's lesson, which is right. That is the right side or right direction. Kunyomi, we call it migi. In onyomi, we call it u or you. The meanings migi, right hand side, aforementioned, especially in vertical Japanese writing or foregoing. Then we have migi ude, which means right arm, right hand man, or right hand pitcher. We have migi. Migi means upper right corner, and shita migi is lower right corner. In onyomi, we have uchukan. Uchukan, which means between right and center. Uchukan, between right and center. Then we have migigawa. Migigawa means right side or right hand side. Then we have kyoku. Kyoku means right, far right in politics, that is ultra conservative. Then we have Saiyu. Saiyu means rightmost. And finally, we have Yubun, which means respect for literary culture. So these are the various usages of this kanji character. Friends, one thing, don't get overwhelmed or be afraid of so many meanings and usages of a kanji character. You will get to learn all of these slowly and slowly. For the time being, just remember the basic meaning of each of these characters, and please take it easy. So nothing to panic about. So you will learn all these things slowly as you keep learning. So although I am presenting the usages of different kinds of usages for each of the characters, but the main thing to remember is this, that is, this symbol represents right. So that should be enough for a beginner. Now the radical used here is the mouth radical. So if you have done the previous kanji lessons, which we did from lesson 16 to 20, so in one of those lessons we had discussed about this mouth radical. So you must be aware of this. So this is the radical which is involved in this kanji character. Now the stroke order. So now this is the first stroke. This is the second stroke, the third stroke, the fourth stroke, and the fifth and the last stroke. So you might remember that in the previous kanji character of stone, we had the horizontal bar as the first stroke and then this second stroke. But here this slanted stroke is the first stroke and this is the second stroke. So there are these kind of differences in the stroke order. Next is the origin and evolution. So this is the ancient most form of this character, which represents a right hand. As you can see here, the right hand is extended here. This is the man and this is his right hand. Now later on, a mouth. This is the mouth, or this also represents speech. So this component was added, perhaps with the intention of indicating the use of the right hand. And from this, the modern version has been derived. And this mouth has been written as this. And this portion of the right hand has been modified to this. In fact, we can call it simplified to this format. So this is how the kanji for right or right hand evolved. We move on to the next. So after right, definitely it will be left. So this kanji is for left. In Kun'yomi, we call it hidari, or in On'yomi, we call it sa or sha. The Kun'yomi meanings, hidari is left, left hand side. Then we have sawan. Sawan means left arm, left handed baseball pitcher. Then we have mukatte hidari. This is mukatte hidari, which means on the left as one faces it. And we have this one as do hidari. Do hidari, which means same as on the left in vertical writing, same as below. So these are the konyomi applications of this kanji. These are the meanings in onyomi. This is sa. Sa means left, especially in vertical Japanese writing, the following. This is sayu. Sayu means left and right, asserting control, influence, domination, one's attendance, people accompanying one, or equivocation. And then we have kyokusa. This is kyokusa, which means extreme left or ultra left. Radical is this portion. This is the radical involved here, which means work. Again, in the stroke order of this, now we see that this horizontal line is again the first stroke. So this is quite confusing, friends. In the symbol for right, we had this as the first stroke and this as the second stroke. But when we write left, then this horizontal stroke is the first stroke and this is the second stroke. And this is the third stroke, the fourth stroke, and finally the fifth and the last stroke. So this is how this character is written. So you should be very, very careful when you write these. The stroke order should be correct. Then only you will get the accurate shape and size of the character. This is how this kanji symbol has been evolved. So this is the original version, which represents a left hand. So this is originally written like this in the Oracle bone script, which represents a left hand. And later in later bronze inscriptions, this portion has been added, which represents work or to assist. So this is an additional component added, and together it represents left. So in the modern version, this portion has been kept common as was for the right, and this is the additional component added here to represent work or to assist. So this is how this symbol has evolved over ages. Then we have the next character for today, which is for leg, foot to represent sufficiency, then counter for pairs of footwear. In Kun'yomi, there are several readings: ashi, ta-riru, taru, tasu. In On'yomi, we have soku. So these are the Kun'yomi meanings. Ashi means foot, paw, arm of an octopus or squid, leg, gait, pace, bottom structural component, for example, that is radical of a kanji, means of transportation, one's ride, money, or even coin. So it depends where this symbol is used. So on the basis of the context, one of these meanings will be applicable. Again, don't panic. Just remember that this symbol represents leg, foot, or counter for pairs of footwear. Then we have ashiato. Ashiato, footprints, record of page visitors, for example, in social networking sites. Then we have deashi. Deashi means turnout of people, start of a race, campaign, business, etc. That is beginning or initial charge. Tariru means to be sufficient, to be enough, to be worth doing, to be worthy of, to deserve, to do the job, to serve, to answer. Tasu means to add numbers, to add something. Let's move on to the On'yomi readings. On'yomi readings is soku, which means counter for pairs of socks, shoes, etc. Then we have ashiato, footprints, record of page visitors, for example, in social networking sites. Then we have shunsoku. Shunsoku means swiftness of foot, that is a fast runner, swift horse, fleet steed, person of great talent, or a gifted person. Then we have dosoku, which means short feet, wearing shoes, muddy feet, or dirty feet. This is a radical in itself. And now let's look at the stroke order. This is the first stroke as we draw the kanji of mouth. This is the second stroke. This is the third stroke. So this is common in all the characters. This is the fourth stroke. This is the fifth stroke, the sixth one, and finally the seventh stroke. So with these 7 strokes, we complete the writing of this kanji character. Now, the evolution of this kanji character is not very certain. So this was the ancient scripture. So how this represents a leg or a foot, this is not quite clear. But we can see that the modern version of this has been lifted, has been evolved from this, and which represents quite which is quite similar to this. So this is the mouth portion of this, and this bottom portion has been modified into this form. The last character for today's lesson is this character, which represents name or noted or distinguished or some reputed person, that is reputation. The Kun'yomi readings is na, and the On'yomi readings are may and myou. Na means name, given name, title, fame, renowned, reputation, pretext, pretense, or justification. Nagori. Nagori means remains, traces, vestiges, relics, the sorrow of parting, or even the end. Then we have Kamei. Kamei means alias, pseudonym, or pen name. Katakana, you all know, katakana is nothing but one of the phonetic scripts of Japanese. In On'yomi, the meanings of this symbol, Mei. Mei means counter for people, usually seating, reservations as such. Name, famous, great. So any of these meanings may be conveyed through this Mei. Then we have Meiga. Meiga is famous picture, a masterpiece for a painting, excellent film, a classic film. Then we have Domei. Domei means name, same name, that is homonym. And then we have, this is Myoji. 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 Myoji means surname, family name, or the last name. So Myoji is this. Again, the mouth radical. So mouth radical is involved in all the 5 characters that we have learned today. So, and here we can see this is also a familiar symbol, isn't it? This represents the crescent moon. So we will look into it in the next slide. The stroke order, the first stroke, the second stroke like this, the third stroke, and the fourth, fifth, and sixth stroke is the same as that for a mouth. So this is how this character will be written. So this character represents name, noted, distinguished, reputation. The crescent moon, you can see here, this is the crescent moon and this is the mouth. So the combination of a crescent moon and a mouth has been considered to represent name or to identify a distinguished person. So what is the logic behind these two characters to represent this name? So the crescent moon and the mouth together, they represent the meaning of saying one's own name to identify oneself in the darkness. It's funny, isn't it? So they have thought so much about all these and came up with these characters. So it's really strange, but it is what it is. That is, this character represents the name, that is namae. When we call watashi no namae wa sujoe desu, then in place of namae, we can use this character. We can use this character in place of na of namae. So friends, that's all for today. We have completed 52 chapters, and in today's lesson, we have learned 5 new kanji characters. Do practice these characters in your notebook so that you can remember. And I will be back soon with the next lesson, 53. Till then, arigato gozaimasu. Mata imasho.